Joe, in English, that's reconnaissance to PITZER'S Woods.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I know you don't speak French.
You're listening to Addressing Gettysburg.
I approached a dense wood on the west side of the road, and on entering it, formed my regiment. As the 3rd Corps moved out towards the Emmitsburg Road on the afternoon of July 2nd, 1863, it was just the continuation of falling dominoes that had begun earlier in the day when Union troops discovered Confederates in PITZER'S Woods. Join us as we discuss the events leading up to the more well-known move by the 3rd Corps. This is Reconnaissance to PITZER'S Woods on August 19th at 10 a.m. We're meeting at the campsite area or the amphitheater at PITZER'S Woods. Louis Trott is with us, as is Joe from Peach Orchard Publishing. Hello, gentlemen.
Hello.
Hello. Okay. So, tell us about the reconnaissance of PITZER'S Woods. Not a lot of people know about this. Super nerds know it.
Yeah.
But the average Joe, does the average Joe know about the reconnaissance of PITZER'S Woods?
No, probably not.
I don't.
I don't.
No, not at all.
And you know why?
You're above average Joe.
Because on an average Joe 2-hour tour, you really don't talk about it.
No.
We talk about Sickles because we like to.
Yeah.
He's the guy that we hate that we like to talk about. At least me.
We go and we make fun of the statue and then we kind of move on. That's all we do.
Sometimes I don't even do that.
What statue?
Longstreet.
Oh, yeah.
It's sort of grown on me. I got close to it on New Year's Eve. Not, romantically close, but I stood close to it for once. And I said, it's not that bad. It just needs to be up higher.
Well, that's it. It's a great statue. It's just so
low.
tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was meant to be up high, right?
I don't know.
I think I heard that it was supposed to be on some sort of pedestal, and if you look up at it, it looks the relationship between the rider and the horse doesn't look as
compacted.
Yeah.
Okay, that might mean next time I'm there, I'm going to lay on the ground and look up at it and see.
Yeah.
Because maybe that's true. I was just there yesterday.
Yeah.
I happened to give a tour to a certain person who played Longstreet in a certain movie.
You did not.
I did too.
He used to be a scarecrow too.
Yeah.
No kid.
The other movie, not the one that
Or maybe he was the king. I don't know.
He
was probably the scarecrow.
He was the scarecrow.
Yeah.
Because Mrs. King, yeah.
Oh, okay. No, still great. Congratulations. Still awesome. Yeah.
So anyway, and when he wanted to take pictures by it, and I looked at it closer, and I'm like, yeah, you're right. There's something off it. But you know what? I do owe an email to Gary Castile who made it, and we're going to find out about that.
Did you see the little bird spurs?
I did not look at the spurs this time, but I have looked at the spurs before. Yeah, the like
birds
rooster.
Yeah,
I think it's yeah.
That's kind of cool.
I got to go look.
You got to go look.
Longstreet has a on his spurs. So, all right. So now,
you know what? This tour came about because when I do bike tours, I ride a bike past that spot. And if anybody has to go to the bathroom, when I'm coming down Confederate Avenue, I hang a right onto the path where the Berdan sharpshooter monument placard is.
Right.
But then I hang a left and hit the porta potties.
Right. I'm glad you said that. And I'm glad you continued to where your final destination is and not that you have people pee in the woods at Berdan's.
No.
Yeah, good.
But I said, I'm guilty of this too. I get down there around the Louisiana or Mississippi State Monument, and that's where I start the second day. And I talk about, Johnson doing his thing. Sickles is over there, and he moves out. And then this fight begins. We go on from there. But I never talk about earlier in the day what Sickles is doing. Sickles' movement to the Emmitsburg Road doesn't happen in a vacuum.
Right.
He's nervous Nelly from the time he gets up.
Yeah.
And he sends out this reconnaissance across the Emmitsburg Road because he's trying to figure out where the right flank of the Confederate Army is. So he sends out the 1st U.S. sharpshooters along with the 3rd Maine to figure this out. And they go into those woods and they run up against Wilcox Alabamians. And so he knows they're there. And they come back with this information. And then he plots and plans how he's going to move his men out to the road. But he just doesn't sit around and say, hey, that looks like a ridge out there by that road. I think I'll go out there and get some peaches and move my men out there.
Yeah.
This other event happens earlier in the day that feeds into the information he's gathered and the reasoning behind him moving out. So, like I said, I'm guilty. I never talk about this because you don't have time to talk about everything.
Right.
And the goal is for people to have a good time, emotionally connect with the battlefield, and not be confused.
Yeah.
And the more you add to people who are just here for a general visit rather than people intimately studying it, you're going to confuse them when you start bringing all this other mess in. So, but I ride by there on these bike tours, and I said, we got to do that. And this is the first tour. I came up with this tour early last year when last year's tours had already been set.
Right.
I was like, well, I got one for 2023 already. We're going to do this one. So that's the impetus behind this particular tour. It is an important event. It's overlooked by most folks that aren't, reading something about Gettysburg every day or living with it. But it's an important event that I thought would make a great tour.
Yeah, and people go by that. I think the first time I went down there, and I've been coming here since '96. The first time I went down there was within the last 4 years. Because I just never was curious. I just figured it was some kind of access road or some kind of maintenance road or something. I just kind of breezed by it because the amphitheater is so close, and that's the big parking lot, and so that's obviously what's drawing your attention. Longstreet statue is there and all that. So it was something I just never even realized, and then went out there a couple of years ago, and it's pretty neat. It's just kind of like this tucked away, quiet little place where nobody ever goes, and the horse trails run by it, and it's a pretty cool thing. And so and you're right, like nobody really seems to you can't fit that in on a tour. And the only time I've ever heard somebody throw it in on a tour is when someone asks a question because they're like putting two and two together, and they're like, well, so Sickles just comes out here and then the Confederates appear, and then they go, well, no, he sent a reconnaissance out, and then all the other things, signal station and all the other elements that lead into it. But you're not going to throw that in on a regular tour. No. So that's cool that we're going to do that.
And even when Sickles sends these men out here, Longstreet's men aren't here yet. They're nowhere close to arriving on the field. He's running into the edge of A.P. Hill's men.
Right.
So even by the time Sickles moves out to the Emmitsburg Road, the situation's changing because Longstreet's definitely on the way by this point.
Yeah.
And that line that Sickles may know where that line ends when he moves out, but that line's going to be extended by the time the action starts, as we all know.
Right. So that's August 19th. I guess I should have mentioned this on the first one, and here we are already into August. But supposedly this year that we're going to put these on YouTube. Community Media, I talked to them, and it's at this pace. It's not set in stone, but the guy I spoke to said he's going to bring it up to the board about coming out and doing these like PCN used to do.
I'll make sure I wear clean clothes.
Yes. Wear clean clothes. You'll be wearing a microphone. So
can I sing?
Yes.
I don't know. Can you?
Yes, you definitely should do that.
Please do.
Yes.
But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I don't know if it'll be live. I don't know if they're able to do them live from the field or not, without generators and all that stuff. But at the very least, it'll be recorded. And then we can put it together and put it up on YouTube.
That's pretty special.
Well, we get a lot of people that ask, are you ever going to put these on YouTube? And I just send them a link to Patreon. And the implication is we need more patrons so that I could afford to hire a videographer. But then I said, okay, well, nobody's getting that message, and I don't want to browbeat them with that. So then an opportunity fell in my lap, and I took it, and I asked the guy, and he liked the idea, and so maybe then that's what we'll do. Because even though people aren't getting the hint when I send the Patreon link, and they go, oh, well, maybe if me and other people do this, we'll get our way, I'm still thinking about how to give you your way. Aren't I wonderful?
Wonderful.
Joe rolls his eyes. Joe rolls his eyes.
Wonderful.
He rolls his eyes and he pulls out the Yiddish.
Oh, so wonderful, my love.
And Lewis, of course, serenades me. But no, really. Anyway, that's what we're going to do. August 19th, reconnaissance to PITZER'S Woods. Meet at the PITZER'S Woods campground area there, the amphitheater parking lot where Longstreet statue is. And if that lot is full, find a place along the road, but make sure it's legal. Park where legal, park where legal, park where legal. And we will see you at 10 a.m. on August 19th. Bye-bye.
Our hearts so stout have got us fame, for soon 'tis known from whence we came. Wherever we go, they dread the name of Gary Owen in glory. Instead of spa or drink